Hello, my numismatic brothers and sisters. This is Hidden Numismatist again, yours truly, back with another Confederate States of America video for you. I recently picked up 2 more Confederate state notes for my Confederate album. This new one that I recently got not too long ago to house my Confederate notes. And because I outgrew my BCW one, so I had to upgrade to one that will hold a hell of a lot more notes. But that all being said, I did pick up 2 new Confederate notes, and I think I've shown this book. This is one of my reference books, the 12th edition, Confederate States Paper Money, Civil War Currency from the South. And here we go. This is my go-to book. Of course, there are others that I use as well. I use P.F. Freaks books and another red book. I don't have that name off the top of my head. But anyway, the 2 that I want to talk about, one's from the 3rd issue, one's from the 6th issue. And they're both pretty desirable. The 3rd issue one that we'll talk about first is a little bit more desirable than this one. And this one has a cool variety to it, and we'll discuss it with the other 20s that are very similar in this format. So let's get started. The first one that I want to talk to you about is my 20 from 1861. This is type 21. And when I saw this on my dealer's website, I'm like, get out of town, folks, because this is, like I said, one that's a little bit more desirable from the 3rd series. Nice original note with no major problems or distractions, as I like all my coins and currency to be. And this is a uniface, meaning the reverse has nothing on it, and it's a nice, clean, problem-free note. And wanted to describe this to you here, as I added the notes to my table here. And this features Alexander H. Stevens, the Confederate Vice-President. He is centered on the upper half here. Confederate Vice-President. And in the background, this is what's really cool about the central vignette here. It is the cotton bales and barrel, hammer, cornucopia, and various tools and symbols of industry, plenty and commerce behind Stevens, the 2 allegorical figures, plenty and commerce. Very, very cool note. And this is green and black ink on plain paper. I love the green with the off-white and the gray, and how all of them blend together, making this a very unique note that will stand out in a beautiful album like this from the 3rd series, making it a little bit more desirable. And also, I want to point out something to you, my numismatic brothers and sisters, those of you that are into the Confederate States of America currency like I am. If your serial number, which is right here, if your serial number starts with or if your serial number is 11220-15247-76007 or 131720, you have a reproduction, and they don't carry any value. So you have to make sure, as I said, this is another good case in point in our hobby in numismatics, that you want to know what you're doing. You want to know the source. You want to know the dealer that you're getting it from, and have good reference books in your numismatic library like I do, so that you can bounce off and feedback and do research before you commit some serious money. And like I said, when I saw this, I'm like, get out of town. So I immediately pulled the trigger and knew, because I had looked it up on the green sheet, what this Confederate Type 21 goes for. And I am stoked. Let's go ahead and read the reference here that they discuss here. This is cool right here. Unlike other notes on which the date and capital, Montgomery or Richmond, are clearly indicated, on this note, one must search to find the small shield at the lower center. Very well said. 26 different varieties due to the plain plate letter W through Z, color shade and paper combination, and 164,000 plus, just north of 164,000 were printed of this beautiful note. And as I stated, this is the bust of Alexander H. Stephens. He's in the foreground, and in the background, we are representing industry and agriculture. It's printed in black and dark or yellow-green paper, plain or watermark paper, with the New York CSA block CSA script. And this note was printed by Keating and Ball. Let's turn to that reference here. And this is just a nice, awesome checklist that I take with me to shows and everything. And this is the note here that Type 21 from Series 3 was printed from June 28 of 1862 to November 15 of 1862 by Keating and Ball in Columbia, South Carolina. So that fit very well. I was very, very stoked to add this. Beautiful, beautiful note. Very colorful and just an awesome note. I'm very blessed to have that one. The next one that I got for my note, as I stated, I got two for my Confederate album, is another variety that's from the 6th series. This is from the 6th series. Beautiful, nice 20. From 1862, Type 58. And in a moment, I will also show you in my album, physically in the album, what I mean by the awesomeness of this in more detail. I love that ornate blue pattern. So let's cover this note here. This one I bookmarked here. This note here is the Tennessee State Capitol in Nashville. And this, again, has our brother Alexander H. Stephens, Vice-President of the Confederate States, on the lower right. And has blue ornate reverse with the denomination. It's on plain, reverse, and watermarked paper. And this is what's cool about this. This has a cool watermark. J. Waterman in 1862 and Hodgkins. The J. Waterman and Hodgkin watermarks are very rare. And this is exactly what made me pull the trigger on this in a heartbeat. I know that this is a little bit more tougher over desirable variety in this series from the 20s, from the 6th issue, right? And this is overprinted at the right end with the month of issue, 1863 to October 1863. First, second, and third series, and without series. Over 100 plate letters, A through H, printer's imprint, and paper variety combinations exist. As usual, date overprints and minor varieties increase this number considerably. And this is what I'm talking about. And roughly 4.4 million of these were printed. So that's tight. I was very, very happy to get that. So we pulled the references there, and I'll link this in the bottom of the video, in the bottom of this video as well, my friends. And here we are again with this beautiful note. I was stoked. I said, man, this is just too damn sweet. And then I'll read to you what I put here. Type 58 from 1863. A little bit newer. Type 6. Again, Tennessee State Capitol on the upper left and Alexander H. Stephens, Confederate Vice-President, on the lower right. And this was also printed, not struck, I'm sorry. Was printed by Keating and Ball. And I'll show you that. Type 58. I'm making a little notation here. This is my black circle that I put on this, knowing that I have it, so that when I take this and this to coin shows, I know what I have and don't have. So that makes it convenient. So type 58. My fingers are not cooperating. Here we are, type 58. Today's T-State's capital, Alexander H. Stevens. It was printed by Keating and Ball, again in Columbia, South Carolina, as the majority of notes were printed by Keating and Ball. And like I said, 4.4 million. And this has a this is the variety in this 6 series that has that cool CSA watermark, as mentioned in my reference book here. And then I wanted to show you where these beautiful notes will fit in this album. Let's go back to the 20s. This 20 here is my earliest 20 type number, that is. So let's go back here. Here's where the 10s start. Here, well, I'm sorry, that's where the 10s end with type 68. And I pulled out my note. The earliest one that I have is the 20. I misspoke. I apologize. And this is the one where it would go right here. Right after the type 21. Right after the type 20 from 1861 is where my beautiful type 21 from 1861 will go. So we'll slide this son of a gun right in here. Right, so that's its home right there. And then what I wanted to explain to you folks is in the 20s how the variant is really cool. This is my earliest. This is my type 9. We discussed this not too long ago on my channel. And then here's the type 18. And then this is the type 60, I believe. No, type 20. Misspoke again. Type 20, yes, and the type 21. And this is where this new type will slide into. But the differences between the two are huge here, folks. This is where the series gets a little bit confusing. This came much later. This is a much newer one. This is type 67, and this is type 58, and you can see how much of a difference there is between the two, even though they're both covering the same motif in general, right? It's the same here, and then it's Alexander Stevens, but these are two very, very different notes, right? How the wording around here arches, and then here's the CSA print, and it has an awesome CSA watermark with the print over the building reading 2 years after the ratification of a treaty of peace between the Confederate States and the United States. This one is fundable in stocks and bonds of the Confederate States, and has that beautiful arch lettering with the 20 in XX in Roman, and this one being very, very different. You have these two shields banners here. This one doesn't. This is an F plate. This is a 9th series. Has nothing to do with 6 because it's a subcategory variety of this series. And it's a cool note, man. I love it. I love these little nuances. And then this is the 20 web reverse that we are very familiar with. And this one is much more popular, available out there in the market versus this variety. where the reverse is very, very different. So not only are the obverses and reverses different, this is a little bit more desired, well, quite a bit more desired actually, than this variety, the Type 67 from 1864, versus you have the Type 58 from 1863, right? So we're going to turn the page here and slide this into its new home. I had these already placed in the album, but I pulled them out to present to you beautiful people, and hopefully you can appreciate the history of these beautiful Confederate notes. There is another one that I am eyeing that I will get for this album hopefully soon, if I can get it from the dealer. I have to make some time and give him a call, because he's one of my favorite dealers that do early American coins and Confederate and colonial money. So I'll have to get on the phone and call him. But very quickly, let's go over to the progress of this album. There is a variety of this that I want to get eventually without the green 1 overprint. There is a variety of that, so that's very doable. And then here are the only 2s that I have. And the 5s start here. Have several 5s. Most of these are uniface. And then the 5s continue here, and I put them all in type number, right? As I've explained that to you. And then you can see again, my numismatic brothers and sisters, what I mean on how, in general, they are very, very similar. Yet, if you look closely, they're very different. This is light pink paper. This is an off-white, light grayish paper. And then boom, that's that 5 web design that we call it. Blue web, versus this is a little bit earlier Type 53 from 1862, and this is the Type 69 from 1864. And then here's the 10s that start. That's the just there's a subtle variety to this that I need to get. That's a little bit earlier, with the same motif, just without these red X, 10 X Roman for 10, without that on that. So there's a little variety here. So eventually I'll have to push these down 1 to make room if I ever get that, and I don't see why I wouldn't. And these are all uniface here. Love that one. That's cool. Beautiful, beautiful notes. Again, here's the 10s that the 10 that is in very similar motif to this one, yet very different, right? This is the 10 for the 20 that I got here. So this one and this one are father and son in significance, right? Then there's the 20s that start. This is a very desirable 20 that I think I've discussed also in my channel. And then how this swoops around is very different than this. Different time era as well. I believe this is 1861, and this is a Type 9, as I stated. And this is the Type 18 from 1861. And here's that beautiful 20 that I just added. So anyway, those are the 2 that I got recently, and I hope to be able to add more to this beautiful album. Yours truly does have a little birthday coming up, and my girlfriend got me two birthday gifts, and one of them she did state is a Confederate note that she knows I need. Again, they do it to me on Christmas and birthday and Easter. I don't know how family does it, but majority of the time they're able to get me a specific coin or banknote that they know that I need. And how they know, I don't know, because nobody really has access to my database or the safe or what have you. So I'm really stoked and excited about that. Again, very similar motifs here, yet very different. Obviously, this is green and this is light pink. Again, awesome varieties. What makes this numismatic hobby so enjoyable. Here's that 50 blue web. I love that reverse from type 57. And then type 66 has to continue the tradition with that blue web 50. And I think that's my earliest 100. No, this is my earliest 100. I don't have these memorized. I apologize, friends. Good thing for computers and databases and documentation, right? And this are two beautiful varieties here that I've discussed with you. And then I love that. Love that motif. That's just beautiful. And this is a much more popular, readily available, cheaper. And here's my 500 that I got maybe 2 years ago when Early American Coppers was in town. I bought this from my brother, Prayer Freak, and I'm stoked. So that's my highest denomination. There are thousands. There's a $1,000 Confederate States that's represented in this book, but it's that's a very nice, desirable 50 that I'll probably never have. But anyway, I digress. And as I said, this has room in it. If I don't ever see it doing it. If I fill this album with Confederates, just from our country, the Confederate States of America, Civil War, I need to be committed, because that's seriously scary. But so I don't ever see myself filling it and getting all the varieties and types that this awesome author and our brother Prayer Freak brings to us for sale. So anyway, that's what I got for you today. I added 2 more Confederate notes. Hopefully be able to do maybe another update in the near future. We'll see. With time in life and Thanksgiving coming around the corner and my birthday and what have you. So I'm a November baby. So family and close friends and church friends have some things planned for me. But I do hope that eventually I will be able to do another update video for another. Goodness gracious. Man, I feel blessed as a man to have a woman in my life and close family and friends that know that I love being a numismatist, and they help a kid out in this hobby. So I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. In the meantime, take care of each other, be kind to each other, and most importantly, may God bless you all. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.